Ahoy hoy! I'm Planarwalk, and welcome to Planartalk with SEAL Team 6, all four members, and I can hear myself from, I think, Conspiracy Cats, it's going through your end.
No,
Yeah.
I think
Now,
Good boy.
alright, now...
right, let me meet you.
Stream's not official unless that happens.
Absolutely.
Alright, so, how's it going, everyone?
Stream's not
Good.
official.
We're good.
So, I'm just gonna make sure that no one can hear me through the walls, can they? You know, we're all filming in the same studio, so...
NASA headquarters.
So it's one thing that I just want to start by saying is that this would be the first time that since probably December that every member of SEAL Team 6 has been in the same video, wouldn't it? Or same stream.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
Wait, when did you become a part of SEAL Team 6?
Must have been around that time, yeah? December.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just after Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a video where I accepted.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't been a very good contributing member so far.
I mean, to be fair though, your contributions have been pretty good. You know, with
Well,
your
I appreciate that.
with your observations. Have you done any new observations lately, or?
Actually, it's very interesting. I recently took my wife on holiday, and we went to Cancun. And there's some places near Cancun where you can see Cozumel, which is an island just off the coast there of Mexico. And also a very popular tourist destination is Cozumel. And you can see Cozumel obstructed by the horizon. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my P1000, so I messed up there.
Yeah.
But even with my cell phone camera, you can still see it. So pretty interesting observation right there. Something worth seeing.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of flat earthers have been saying is that you can't see any obstruction due to curvature with your eyes. That's one thing that I've noticed that they've been saying. And there's one time when I was in Byron Bay, and there's when you go to Byron Bay, there's a beach, and you can actually go up the beach, and then you can stand up a bit, and there's a rock kind of out in the middle of the bay. And if you go to the shore, you can see it being obstructed by the curve of the Earth, which I think is pretty cool. Unfortunately,
Where did you stay? Where did you stay in Byron Bay? Because I've been there.
oh, you've been there.
Yeah.
I stayed. So there was a place called Discovery Holiday Parks,
Okay.
which is about. So if you know where the town is, it's about a kilometer or a kilometer or two from there.
Oh, okay. So you didn't stay directly in Byron Bay.
No.
Oh, okay.
So, did you see Flat Earth Aussie Jesus when you were there?
Well, no, because I wouldn't know who he was, would I? And it was about 15 years ago.
Okay.
So wait, so from there, what could you see?
There was a rock kind of in the middle of the bay, and when you went up to this, went up to this bank, you could kind of see the entire rock, and when you went to the shore, you could actually see it being obstructed a bit by the curve of the Earth.
I can tell you something. One of my personal ambitions is to put together a coffee table book of these types of photographs.
Okay. You did have that that board, didn't you, before?
Yeah. Still do. I still have that
Yeah.
in OBS somewhere.
So, Cats, you haven't spoken much. So, how's Dell doing?
Yeah, I've not spoken to him for a bit. I've just unmuted myself because I think I was giving you feedback. Is it gone now?
Yeah, it's gone now.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I had to go out and come back in. Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. The main part that's been annoying me lately is cold weather. Kind of makes
We get that in abundance.
yeah. As I said in my video about Simon Dan and his nipples and legs. Sorry for exposing you there, Dan.
It's fine. Someone needed to do it.
Yeah, but as I said in that video, it never is sunny in England. You never get sunshine.
Well, it was probably one of the hottest summers last year, wasn't it, Cats? Probably one of the hottest summers it's been in, what, a decade?
It was everywhere else other than Lancashire, mate. It really was. Like, South Coast, I bet you had a great time.
We had,
I was worried about wellies.
5 weeks of solid sun last summer.
It was good for us, wasn't it? It was good.
You,
Look at us getting chuffed at 5 weeks. I'm getting chuffed at 5 weeks, and he's probably like, well, these two probably get it all the time, don't they?
well, to be fair, I only get. I'm trying to think of how much sun that I got in the summer, and I probably got like 3 weeks of sun.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty bad where I am.
How south are you?
Oh, I'm in the deep south.
The deep south. Okay.
Yeah.
No messing about. The deep south. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like it.
fortunately, another thing that kind of annoys me sometimes is the amount of wind that I get as well. Fortunately, it's actually decided to be fine.
You can get tablets for that, mate.
I'm gonna say too many vegetables.
I've heard that.
As long as you're not following through, though.
Classic British humour. That.
Well, I've heard that I've heard that a lot of the wind that you get in England is from Dell. So.
Pish and wind.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but fortunately it's fine today, so you don't have a roaring wind. What I'd like is I'd probably actually like the fireplace that I've got in my room to be unblocked, but if that happened, it would probably wouldn't be the greatest thing because first off I'd have to move my bed because it's right up against the fireplace, and second off it hasn't been used in years, so I don't want to have to announce someday that I've burnt my house down.
Yeah, I hope not.
But
Joseph
That would be a bad day.
Joseph Grant in the chat lives in San Antonio and he gets 7 months of sun and temperatures of 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 300% humidity.
There's some cracking messages in the chat. I've just seen 1 minute debunk. 1 minute debunk, just saying how it's impossible to punch a penguin in the face. So, I don't know what conversation's going on there. But that's a cracking comment. That one.
well, when it comes to the punching penguins in the face, why do you think we hired them to guard the ice wall?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if you can't punch it in the face, how are you gonna get past the ice wall? You just can't do it. So.
Well, it's that and the AK-47s they got as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would probably be the reason why it's impossible to punch a penguin in the face.
Yeah,
It's also
absolutely.
wrong to go around. Can we just clarify? That's also wrong to go around punching.
Oh, yeah, completely wrong.
Like, it's not like it's a hobby. It's difficult with a penguin, but if it's a cat,
Can you milkshake them? Is that okay?
so Sandy, what animal would you like not to see punched in the face?
Cats mostly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh,
I just noticed that there's a
Switching.
new thing on screen.
Yeah, I'm switching.
Oh, okay. I was confused there for a second. I thought someone had gotten a hold of the link.
should I not have emailed that out?
What?
Should I not have emailed the link out?
Nah, man. You know, we're gonna invite Dell into SEAL Team 6, invite Nathan Oakley into SEAL Team 6. That'll be a fun time. Oh, actually, here's a suggestion for SEAL Team 6. Why don't we get Ranty?
He deserves the place, I think, more than anybody, doesn't he? For his services. I'm thinking of seeing if I can tap him up for an MBE for his services to science.
Yeah. Like, I feel like he would do great. And I just noticed that Dan's kind of dropped out, so...
Well, he looks frozen there, doesn't he, on the screen? I think he said he was.
I think it's going to take a while for the CGI software to catch up. You know, he's got to get better CGI software. You'd think that NASA would give us better CGI software, seeing as, you know, how we're doing all this work for them, but, you know, it's just...
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, coming through loud and clear.
But one thing that I forgot to say is that one thing that was really nice was when I was living in Byron Bay for the 2 months that I was there. It was... Honestly, if I was there right now, I'd be doing a lot better. I'd be making a lot more videos and all that. And one person asked, why is everything reversed? And it's the NASA CGI that's glitching out. I've got to have the CGI to turn me upside down so that everyone can see me, alright? I don't know why I just don't strap myself to the roof and make videos that way.
There you go.
Oh, somebody's gone outside.
Is Dan going to make it back?
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
But I'm just one.
Yeah, I switched to my my other computer because it just has a better camera. The one I was on is terrible.
So, one thing that I have just noticed, and this might be because of the light, and welcome back, Dan.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Poor internet.
So there's something that I've noticed, and this might be because of the light, but I've noticed that that Conspiracy Cats doesn't seem to have little Pussy Nathan on his shelf anymore, by the looks of it.
No, well, Julian HG made me the Space Comma. And again, another big shout out to him. And I thought I was going to make that a more positive shelf. So I've got the top trumps to remind me of the time that who did I beat at Flat Earther top trumps? I can't remember who that might be. But I've got those top trumps here. Got the Space Comma. So I'm going to make that into a little bit of a positive shelf rather than a negative one.
I've just given my top trumps away in my prize draw for Patreon.
Oh, okay.
That's the sort of stuff you can win, man. You know.
But
I
play that with my daughter. She loves it.
I still need to finish that card game that I was working on, that Flat Earth Debates card game. Unfortunately, people seem to associate it with Nathan Oakley's debate crew for some reason. So I'm thinking of just calling it Debates, and then including all sorts of other people like there's a few conspiracy theorists that I've... Conspiracies by Hans, I don't think he's a flat earther, is he?
He is, but
Okay.
he does everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking...
He's back Tuesday.
So essentially I'm thinking of making it more of an all-rounded conspiracy debates game, so that people don't think Nathan Oakley, because for some reason he's the most thought of person when it comes to the debates, even though they're not debates. It's just them calling you out on fallacies that you didn't actually commit.
Well, he has a channel which has videos titled with debate, so he must debate, right?
Oh, he's ruined himself now anyway with that blooming Google Earth thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But you can see, Quinn, people
just ruined himself, or
Wow, yeah.
You see, I was actually excited. I was thinking, finally, someone has actually come up with maybe a good flat Earth model. And then the disappointment when it turned out to be Google Earth. I mean, I think I was disappointed, and I'm not even a flat earther. I thought that it would be better than that. And for a while I was thinking, okay, this has got to be a joke. And he even said at some point in the stream that he wasn't joking.
Yeah, no, it was. What surprised me is Adam from Iron Realm Media. So he obviously he's a flat earther, but he seems to have like a decent head on his shoulders. He seems to understand some things. Yeah, he was going with it as well, and I just, what?
Well, he's got a background in sciences. He's a chemist.
Yeah.
But then, like, I've spoken to him in the past or messaged him in the past, and he's a chemist, but he's pretty picky with that as well. So,
Oh, is he?
Boltzmann factor, for example, he doesn't really believe in the Boltzmann factor because that explains atmospheric distribution of gases. I think his term was, I'm not really over friendly with that concept. Believe in chemistry, a bit like Gav, who's a physicist who doesn't believe in physics.
Gav, yeah.
Yeah, so they're match made in heaven then too, I think.
Yeah.
But we've got to remember who the best scientist in the flat earth community is. It's JM Truth.
I thought you were going to say Ramsey.
No, JM Truth, doesn't he have like 50 different degrees?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 120 last time I checked. Oh, he just got a new degree now, so.
Stanley, you've been on the scene for like a lot longer than any of us. Have you ever has there ever been a flat Earth video that's come out that you've had to go, oh, hang on, and then it's really taken you some time to figure out, or has it all been just as easy? Like, anything historically that's been difficult?
I think, well, there's a couple things. One, Quantum Eraser does this thing with independent variables and do you know the scientific method and all this stuff. Like, I think that is difficult in the sense that if you're trying to communicate to lay people, which is most of the people that are actually interested in this are just lay people, they don't know all the scientific terminology. Like, what is an independent variable? You got to go Google it real quick. I think that gets confusing to people. So I think that when he started doing that, it became confusing until people kind of caught up to it. But just like any misinformation, it gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to catch up. But the other thing was the Rob Skiba Fornell lens demonstration that he did. Have you seen that one? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
So Rob Skiba has this Fornell lens where whenever you start backing away from it, it looks like the buildings like actually start getting obstructed, kind of like on my screen right now. Like, it looks like the buildings start going down, like they're actually going down, even though you're just backing up. And but his claim is that's how the atmosphere works. That there's this Fornell lens type effect. So that took a bit to kind of catch up to as well. And I think the key in each one of these, there's some key point that you can bring up that shows that it doesn't match reality, and that's how you defeat those. And in his case, the magnification, right? You can just prove that the videos or the photographs that you're taking don't in fact magnify the buildings. In his video, the buildings were actually being magnified, and any type of magnification does that, right? It's gonna crop the main scene and it's gonna magnify the center, right? That's how magnification works. So he was taking advantage of that he's taking advantage of the magnification to say, you see how the edges are cropped? And he was saying that he was trying to basically prove perspective based on that. So that was an interesting challenge. Answered pretty quickly though.
One of the things that kind of I was at a loss, and this is something that I was because I went on the debates show a couple of nights ago, not this night just now, but the night just before, and he was trying to explain his whole. If you've got I was trying to ask, okay, why is it that half of a boat can be obstructed when going over the horizon? And Nathan was going, oh, well, if you've got, imagine you've got a brick and the angular resolution or something downwards is much more than upwards, or much less than upwards. And I'm just going, well, if it's or the deck of the boat would have much less angular resolution, so therefore it disappears bottom first. And I'm just going, you don't understand how the Rayleigh criterion works. And I essentially he said something about his brick. You know, if you have a brick and you back up far away enough from it, you won't see it anymore. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. You won't see it. And then he says, but if you add 100 bricks on top of that, then you'll be able to see the 100 bricks. And I was thinking, hang on a second. You wouldn't be able to make out any of those individual bricks, though, would you? You know, you may not be able to see the bottom brick when you've backed up enough from it, but you wouldn't be able to make out any individual brick from those anymore. And you certainly wouldn't get half of them disappearing. And my challenge to him is to make half of the bricks or half of a tower disappear by backing up enough from it without the top half disappearing. I don't think he can do it.
No.
I was listening when you were on it for a little bit, about 5-10 minutes, and it was the bit where he was absolutely smashing you for presupposing the globe.
Okay.
And then trying to get
that whole thing, the presuppose.
trying to shoehorn little G in there as well, and they were just going for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, the part that annoyed me is that, you know, they were just assuming that I was going for this thing, and they didn't even listen to my argument before.
Yeah, they didn't give you a chance at all.
Well, they won't, you know, because that's what he wants, and what the people who watch that show want is they want to hear Nathan screaming and shouting at people. What comes out of his mouth is never going to be intellectual or clever or even honest, is it? You know, it's just they want to hear him shout and scream, and you know that'll satisfy them. England have just scored, by the way. Oh, hang on, are you watching the match? Later on, Dan. I don't want to spoil.
Oh no, it's fine. Who scored?
Who scored? Rashford, penalty.
Go on, Rashford.
I'm just gonna support Rashford because I don't know many different teams.
What's the history of the New Zealand football team?
So I just want to clarify that you're talking about soccer, right?
No, football.
Okay.
No, the ball that you kick with your feet. Football?
Yeah, rugby.
No, football. It's a ball when you kick it with your feet, so it's football.
Oh, you mean American rules?
That would have to be the. I think that's the one thing that NASA haven't really addressed. Really, is trying to get. They've been trying to. As far as I know, they're trying to address the whole miles and kilometers thing, but they still haven't addressed the important things like football versus rugby versus soccer.
Absolutely. How many times, Soundly, how many times do they kick the ball in American football?
Not very often.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Once every 4 downs, basically, and then after a touchdown.
Right.
Twice after a touchdown.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually confused me in primary school because there was Aussie rules football.
It depends on how good the team is.
Or Aussie rules rugby, something like that. And then there was sometimes rugby was referred to as football, and then soccer was sometimes referred to as football. And at one point I was going, okay, hang on a second, why can't I play soccer? Why is that option not there? So
no such thing.
So do you guys ever call soccer football in England, or
All the time?
That's only what they call it.
No, we'd never call it soccer. No.
Y'all call it football. All right.
Yeah. It's football.
Soccer is an imaginary sport made up by Americans. The actual sport's football.
Absolutely.
I think this is what World War III is going to be about.
Possibly. Yeah.
As long as we can determine the winner on the field, that I'm okay with that.
Well, that's the problem. You won't be able to get Americans to agree to a game of football, which is actually soccer, and you won't be able to get the English to agree to a game of soccer because they call it football.
Americans show up in shoulder pads.
Yeah.
400-pound monsters. That's the major difference between. If I have to say, not the shoulder pads, it's the major difference is the size of the guys, man. American rules football guys, those are freaks.
I bet you an American football team would lose a game of rugby against an English one.
Well,
I don't know, man. The shoulder pads and the pads are not designed to. They're not designed to prevent the blows. Like the blows are. Those 400-pound linemen, those guys will freaking crush people.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the only reason they have pads is so that they can get up and do it again.
Yeah. Let's not talk about rugby because Planarwalk will just start lording it all over us because
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Kiwis.
Dan, have you been?
That is a sport I like to watch.
Have you been sort of listening into my thoughts there with your?
Probably. I knew that's where you were going. Some sort of our unbeaten for how many games or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up with sports, but sometimes it's, and I have a few people that would probably not like it if I bring up rugby, and I'm not a big rugby fan to be honest. But at this point, I'd probably say, well, you're saying about the England team will beat the American team in rugby, and
We'd give you a good game. We'll give the Kiwis a good game, but yeah, you are good. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So, geez, what to talk about? Come on, guys, we've got to keep this going.
Well, what?
Wait, going back to the presupposed thing. They're always talking about Oh, you're presupposing awe. Like that's Oakley. What Jesse Kozlowski did with his GPS profile, which is the Earth-centered Earth-fixed coordinates, rectangular coordinates profile, it answers that question because he actually measured the radius by profiling the causeway. He profiled the causeway, he took those points, and then he determined what the arc is, and then he determined what the radius would have to be for that arc, and it matches our globe. So there's no more presupposing R. Jesse Kozlowski literally measured it himself.
Nice. It's just like all that presupposing, begging the question rubbish is just like a really quick fire in there and shut people up.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Science is it's not deductive. I mean, that's the whole thing. It is deductive, but its first steps are not deductive, right? I mean, you have to take a whole bunch of observations, and you have to come up with, you have to induce a model, and then you test it deductively. You test that model deductively. You come up with deductive tests like pass-fail type things.
Yeah,
it's not that it's not a deductive proof science. We've done this test 100,000 times, and every time it came out this way. So more than likely, the 101,000th time, it's going to be the same way. That's how science works. And then you take what you think is true based on that science, and you build cell phones, and you build the internet, and you build YouTube. And it's like,
build YouTube for flirts to spread their ideas.
The very people that are denying that science works are using the results of science to tell us about it.
Absolutely.
You see,
yeah,
when it comes to flat earthers, I don't doubt that they believe that science works, but it's just that they apply science wrong. They say, well, you haven't proven this thing and you've got to prove it. And I like what the Rumpus said when he was debating with Sleeping Warrior, and that was, he said that you can't prove that invisible green pixies aren't causing everything. So, conspiracy dogs.
That's not me. I haven't got any dogs. That's the kids.
Me neither.
Yeah, no, it's
I
not
don't hear
me.
any dogs. What are you talking about?
So, no, but that, like I said, I think everybody, even other flat earthers, know that the flat Earth, Nathan's show is just to make money for Nathan, just to be entertainment. I don't think anybody takes it seriously now. And like Dan said, he's ruined himself really with taking that stance, because he's not going to grow. If you look at his subscriber count, look at the number of views he's got. Even the people who've seen him in the past and subscribed, they're not watching him. They're not taking it seriously.
But something went on. Something went on, because he had, I think, about 8,000, didn't he? And then he shot up to 14,000 in the space of a week. Was it?
Jeronism shouted him out on a video that went well for Jeronism.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I saw Nathan Oakley on Patricia Steele's show, and he was talking about it, and he said when he traced it back in his analytics, the traffic he was getting from Jeronism's video, he said almost all the traffic that week had come from Jeronism's video.
Yeah. Yeah, so he shot up quite a bit, but then it's kind of just stayed there, isn't it?
Well, after it shot up, and then it stayed there for a bit, and then he had a spell of about a week where he was losing about 50 or 60 a day. I think those who obviously come on from Jeronism watched this stuff and thought, this is shit.
I think it was, he also had that falling out with Bob Noodle Super Doodle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was brilliant.
You know what though? Like, I don't understand the whole. They have to be doing something with the subscriber count, because if you look at somebody like Awake Souls, for example, that guy has what? Let me look him up real quick. Hold on. How many?
40 something.
17. He has 17,000 subscribers.
17.
Right, but he put out a video debunking Lake Pontchartrain just a couple weeks ago, and it has 261 views on it. Like, that doesn't make sense with 17,000 subscribers. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but
Well,
the numbers don't add up.
Well, when I was doing my gaming content way back, I'd have 400 subscribers, yet I'd only get something like 20 views in one video. And so some of these videos were actually pretty good. I enjoyed making them, but and that's why I'm actually. You may have seen a couple of my videos, one where I talk about vaccines, and I was essentially I had a lot of fun with that video. And
I didn't know you were an anti-vaxxer. Planarwalk.
well, it's not me that's an anti-vaxxer, it's Karen, so.
Yeah.
But one thing that I just noticed in the chat is Toki Ivo, who's a member, asked, Baldy Cats, do you think Why You Are an Idiot will ever say something remotely true?
I have never listened to him speak. I think, I'm aware of the name. Maybe if I have seen him, I can't remember exactly where it was. Is he the guy you debated?
Yeah, I've debated him a couple of times. Fight the Flat Earth has also debated him a couple of times, and I think there's a couple of others.
Fight the Flat Earth has debated everyone.
He hasn't. He
hasn't debated me yet.
I have a debate on my channel with what's his name? The guy with sunglasses.
A lot of them have sunglasses.
Flat Earth Hero or something like that.
Oh,
Flat Out Hero.
Flat Out Hero. Oh, that was fun. That was fun. That debate was amazing.
He's incredible, isn't he, that guy? But he had like some videos that had hundreds of thousands of views, because that whole thing with Wolfie,
yeah,
Wolfie
they both exploded over that $100,000 thing.
But hardly anyone subscribed to Flat because his channel's sort of back to normal now. But some of his videos just absolutely flew, didn't he?
Well, I debated him before his whole blowing up thing, and because he Before he did his $100,000 challenge, I thought that he was actually a decent person. I could actually talk some sense into him. Because I had a discussion with him where I explained why the shadow of the moon isn't the same size as the moon, and he actually said that he told me that I had managed to change his mind on that, and so I thought, maybe he's one of these people that if you can reason with him, then. But I think I don't know. Recently, he said that nothing will change his mind, and so it's like, God damn.
I think the thing is with these people, like we were saying like offline earlier on, that the people who are down that rabbit hole now, they need people in their lives close to them,
Right.
to pick them out of it. They're not going to listen to some face that they don't know on the internet. They need good people around them to be patient and help them out of it. All we can do is deter the people on the edge.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen it yet, Mick West has this book called Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and he makes that exact same point. He's like, whenever the entire book is basically very positive. He's saying we're going to talk about these people as our friend, because that's the way we have to approach it. They're our friend, and we're trying to help them. If you're not doing that, then you're not going to get through to them at all. But I think you're right. They need somebody in their life that is willing to do the long haul, because it could take years.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to get them out.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to these, a lot of people ask me, why do you debunk flat Earth? Do you think that they'll actually listen to you? And I'm not so much trying to get the people that actually make the videos to listen to me. It'd be nice if they did listen to me and change their mind, but that's not what that's not my main focus, because people like Nathan Oakley, they're not going to change their mind because it makes them money. But when it comes to people that may listen to Nathan Oakley and think that they've got a point, if the next video that pops up is a video that debunks it and they click on it, then it may make them think, oh yeah, Nathan Oakley is just talking shit.
Absolutely. I think that's what the majority of us feel. And since I've started, I've had almost 30 messages from people saying that I have actively changed their mind. And those 30 people now, I've had a positive impact on them. And that's the whole time I've done it now, that's been worth it.
And for every one of those, there's another 100 lurkers that didn't message you.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing happened with me. Is like I got messages from people that don't want to be publicly mentioned, don't want their name to be out there, but yet they were thankful for the work that not just me, but a bunch of us have done.
Yeah.
So
I think it's important, because if the flat Earth, to me, it's the stuff that comes with believing the flat Earth that is damaging. If someone wants to believe the Earth is flat, well, that's absolutely fine. But to do that, they have to then believe, millions of people are lying to them. The teachers, the doctors, the Sky TV engineer, the electricity company, they have to believe that literally that the entire planet is against them to keep that flat Earth lie alive. And I think that's what's really damaging. You're really instilling some serious paranoia into people, aren't you, if they have that belief.
Yeah. One of the videos that I've actually got to make is because there's this. I'm trying to remember, I think it's ODD at one point talked about the Truman Show and said how the Truman Show shows the flat Earth reality. And I was thinking, hold on a second. There's a problem with that, because if you notice about the Truman Show, there's other things that going on in there too. Who's the only person in the Truman Show that doesn't know that the Truman Show is fake?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. And so it's
that was a rhetorical question, wasn't it? Actually.
Planner, Scythe DK says, how do you feel that people still think that your leaked mail is still real?
Honestly, I think that a lot of it has blown over by now, and I saw I saw a video on Sir Sick, and I actually forgot to mention it in Flat Earth News, because one thing that I wanted to address, so I'll address it now, is that the person that Sir Sick showed, actually, I don't know if he still believes it. I don't know if he saw the reveal, but that video was from before I revealed it. The video that Sir Sick was responding to.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people saw that and thought, oh, someone still believes it, but
Okay.
yeah, I talked about this guy beforehand. Although there were people like Infinite Plane Society who thought that it was real. As soon as Jeranism got a hold of the second page and revealed it before I was intending to reveal it, and I actually give Jeranism props for showing the second page and not trying to, and not trying to say, oh, this is all just fake. The second page is fake. So I can give him props for that, and I actually give props to Antonio Subrats, who said, this is a joke. That's the first thing that he said when he saw that document.
Yeah.
But yeah, Infinite Plane Society didn't want to believe that it was a fake document, and even though I can definitively show that we knew what we were doing, and Jeranism did say, oh, these guys are scumbag liars. And if he wants to think that, that's fine. I think that's a bit of a cop out to this. If you think of every globe debunker as a scumbag liar, that's a bit of a cop out saying it's a poisoning the well fallacy.
He always says that.
Yeah.
Always.
That's their main. I mean, that's their main bread and butter. It's just to call people liars, defame them. That's what they do. But it's an emotional appeal to their followers. It's like, oh yeah, he got him. Ha. That's all root and root. It's like a cheerleader basically. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make them feel good. But anybody that's really looking into it isn't going to be moved by that type of rhetoric.
No.
One thing I should probably do is read out the super chats. So we've got J.R. Perez, who donated $5 saying this money is not valid on the flat Earth. And I mean, what money can you use on flat Earth?
Bitcoin.
But we've also got Robert Laguerre 3, and apparently I pronounced his name wrong in my last video, and he says, can I be in SEAL team? I'll bring crisps and beer. I don't know, I think that's one for Simon Dan.
Agent.
Oh, is that one for the agent?
Sorry, mate, you dropped out.
You cut out for a second. So Robert Laguerre said, can I be in SEAL team? I'll bring crisps and beer.
Yeah. The agent will make the final decision on that one.
Okay, got to bribe the agent.
In other words, I'm copping out. Yeah.
You got to bribe the agent. Chris Kelling said, show your sock account presence. Smash the like button. I mean, Simon Dan, you've got 170,000 sock accounts, so if you can...
It's bloody, I'll tell you what, it's bloody hard work, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Keeping them going.
I mean, do you have to pay NASA to keep them running, or do you have to manually control them and...
No, one price.
No,
one
man.
fixed price. Job done.
Okay, because...
Yeah. Google's got the AI now, man. It's like real people now.
Okay, so that's why you've got a whole lot of comments saying, oh, all your subs are fake. I must be real then. Well, I must be fake then, and it's just a Google AI.
Absolutely.
Turing test has been defeated.
0132 donated $6.66. saying that joke wasn't a lie because you never said it was a legitimate document. Just saying. And yeah, I never actually claimed.
What's he talking about?
Oh, that document, that OSI document.
Oh, that's still a thing?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about before.
I missed that part.
I mean, I actually had almost forgotten that you're a part of that, and you had the even though part of the thumbnail that I used actually had the numbers that MCToon created. You know the hash on the clipboard.
Yeah, after the fact, it was just another way for them to talk shit about us. I mean, that's what it just came down to at the end of the day. It's like you don't even understand like how gullible you are. Like that, the whole point of it was a study in gullibility. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, there was that Belu stuff. Remember? I actually hadn't heard about
that was ridiculous.
What?
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
So, Belu is one thing that I've heard a little bit about, but I hadn't heard a whole lot about. All I know is that there was an alien called Belu which had come down.
Oh, you haven't seen the documentary?
No, I haven't.
It was
laughable.
It was like a Brazilian documentary about flat Earth, and it was, and it went into.
Was it convex Earth?
It was what?
Is it convex Earth?
I think that was a different.
Oh,
document.
right. Yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Convex Earth, yeah. But like every one of their experiments they did, it seemed like it was intentionally set up. But you never know. I mean, because flat earthers do this all the time. They seem legit, like they actually believe the experiment makes sense. But it was just a series of experiments that none of them made sense. Like one of them was like, we're going to measure the altitude at the top of this building and the altitude at the top of this building, and if they're the same altitude, then the Earth is flat. And we're like, wait, what? Like. I'm trying to say that GPS, because they measured the altitude with GPS at two different locations in the Earth, that the Earth has to be flat. It's the same argument they always make, like, there's got to be a gigantic hump. No, there's not a gigantic hump.
What was hilarious, though, about the whole thing is when it dropped, every flat earther was like, whoa, nail in the coffin, the globe is dead. And then 3 days later, it's like, yeah, we're sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we forgot to mention there was an alien that told them all this stuff. Alien ET.
Oh, dear.
Instead of providing pictures from space, he's just gonna,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see your picture. I want to see Belu's pictures of flat Earth from space.
Well, you see, you can't get a picture of the flat Earth because of the atmospheric diffraction and the Rayleigh perspective, and
yeah, sounds good.
And that makes it impossible.
Just say flurspective, magnification,
yeah,
flurfraction.
The one that I came up with was thermodynamics.
Yeah, nice one.
That's
nice.
nice.
I like it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that didn't catch on as well as I hoped it would. Oh yeah, somebody said the circle of confusion. That's just the entire flat Earth with the ice. That's the ice wall, the circle of confusion.
Wait, what's the Nathan Oakley's angle of attack? That was
Angle of attack.
Oh yeah, and it will sometimes change. It will change from angle of attack to diffraction. I actually managed to ask Nathan Oakley. I said at one point, so why don't you explain diffraction then? And he actually did better than he did with you cats.
Did he actually try?
Yeah, he actually tried, but it just didn't make sense. And he was trying to roast me for not understanding it, and I was just saying, look, you don't make any sense whatsoever. It's not that I don't understand it. It's that it's like when
you can't explain it. Yeah.
It's like when you had that guy that you were talking about on one of your videos, Conspiracy Cats, and you just didn't understand what that guy... You know that guy with...
The guy talking about aiming at the moon or with the protractor?
Yeah, I think it was...
I didn't know what I was saying.
To this day, have you figured out what he was talking about?
No idea. Literally no idea. But I go back to his channel every now and then, and he's always talking about the moon aiming in certain places. So at first I thought he meant, he was thinking of some kind of angle of incidence, angle of reflection thing with the sunlight bouncing off the moon and hitting the Earth. And but no, he's not even meaning that. I have no idea what he's talking about. But
yeah, I don't know what he was on about either. It's because one thing that I did is I made the claim that if the moon is less than half lit by the sun, right, then at night it will always point in a somewhat downwards direction. So, and I'm talking about the side, and I'm talking about the part of the moon that is the part of the moon that's lit compared to the part that's unlit will be pointing downwards. Some people tried to say, "Oh, you got a Cheshire moon and that's pointing up," and I mean, no, I'm not talking about the tips of the moon pointing up. I'm talking about the face that's lit, pointing down. And I've been trying to debunk it in my head, but I can't debunk it in my head.
you'll have to see that drawn out on paper, or not sure.
Yeah.
I remember once when I used to teach astronomy, GCSE astronomy, one of our bits of coursework, because obviously we taught in the day when it was daytime, so we couldn't do anything with telescopes, looking at the stars, and the kids didn't have telescopes of their own. So one of the things he allowed us to do for coursework was observations of the moon, and we had to observe the moon every night for an entire cycle and draw pictures of how the shadow terminator line moved across. And if we had binoculars, did that change the detail in the craters and stuff like that? But I live in Lancashire in England, and I swear to God, we never could see the moon more than 2 nights, 2 nights on the bounce. So like, all the kids at the end of the year had barely no coursework whatsoever. They all passed, but it was just like, we can't see the moon. Just can't see it.
Yeah. One thing that I was going to do. One thing that I was going to do one day in the summer was, and I kind of realized that it would probably dox me a little bit if I did this, but I was going to basically put a stick in the ground, right, and film it for 4 hours, and basically to show the angle of the sunlight as it goes. And that would be from something like 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And
You're smart enough to figure out where you live based on that. They're not a flat earther, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, there's other people that there's people that aren't flat earthers that try to dox others. Like there's apparently that guy that doxed Simon Dan wasn't a flat earther. So
Who doxed you? Simon, or if you want to tell, anyway.
Well, I've got my reservations about who it is, but I'm guessing it's someone in the P Mars camp.
Oh.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I try not to give that person any kind of attention. Only sometimes will I respond to him in comments, but most of the times I just don't.
Who's that? P Mars?
Oh no, not P Mars, the person that doxed Simon Dan. I'd actually, when I made the video about it, I'd actually forgotten who it was, and I really couldn't. I really couldn't be bothered just saying. I really couldn't be bothered looking up his channel, and even then I just didn't want to give the guy attention as well. So.
Yeah, doxing shouldn't be happening. Period.
Yeah,
that should be a big penalty, I think, as far as social media platforms go.
You got doxed just before we had our interview, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody knows who I am now, and I don't really care. But yeah, it's I'm a big free speech proponent, and a bunch of different things that the whole point of free speech is, even if I don't like it, even if I detest what that person's saying, if it's legal to say, I'm okay with it being there. You know, like I will argue with them and present a better idea to defeat it. And that's what I think free speech should be like. My personal opinion. And a lot of people disagree with me, but when it comes to doxing, I think that should be illegal. That right there should be an illegal act. So I personally think that doesn't fall in the category of free speech.
Yeah, I think that there is some information that's known about me which is publicly available, and you know sometimes people will say, the person that doxed Simon Dan was talking about had actually found out my real name, and I was trying to figure out how they had found it out, and it was from YouTube. So there was one video that I had my real name in, so you know that's obviously how they found it out, and you know I'm not going to take down that video because you know there's some videos that you just don't take down, like your first video that you ever upload to YouTube, you just don't take down. No matter how embarrassed you are by it.
I was going to say I should take that one down. Jesus, it's so cringe looking back at that now.
Yeah, my first one's pretty bad too. I would say.
I think everyone's first was, apart from Conspiracy Cats. I think Conspiracy Cats' first video was pretty good, at least from what I remember.
Mine was taken down. I did take my first one down.
Yeah.
I literally had a tripod mount for my cell phone, and I had it looking over a piece of paper, and I was doing math. So, Jesus, how did I expect to convince anybody with that? Jesus.
Yeah.
Mine looked like I was filming with a potato.
Did NASA not give you a decent camera?
That's pre-NASA, man. It's before they picked me up.
They would have picked you up with the gate video, wouldn't have they?
Yeah. No, they were there with the gate. Yeah.
One thing that I was actually going to ask you guys is, how did you find out about Flat Earth?
It was actually in my recommendations feed. I think I was looking at some 9/11 conspiracies or something, and it popped up, and I watched it, and I went, what the hell? This is like satire, right? And then slowly got introduced to this whole community of people that seem to actually genuinely believe it. I mean, even there's this Discord I pop my head in on once in a while, which routinely has 40 people, 50 people in there, like 24/7. There's always people in there still to this day. And I'll pop my head in there once a week for about 10 minutes just to see if anybody's saying anything new. And it's like a soap opera. It's the same exact conversation from a month ago. It's amazing.
Is that Debate Flat Earth and More?
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I noticed that it has you as... I actually just clicked on there now, and it says that you're world-class moderator.
Yeah, I'm a moderator there because Jim Panda gave me moderator status at some point.
Simon, Dan, how did you find out about it? About Flat Earth?
I used to watch a lot of Cosmic Skeptic, and he did a video like debunking like the top 5 flat Earth theories or whatever, and I was like, "What? Really?" And he was like, citing all these videos in it. So that's when I first found out about it, and then after that, I was getting a couple of recommendations.
Okay.
I saw. I think the first flat Earther video I saw was, I think it was Jeranism. I think. It was a US one, but I can't remember exactly which. I think it was Jeranism. That was the first actual flat Earther video I saw.
And
the first one I saw was actually Debate. Surprisingly,
Debate. What? Yeah. 200 proofs?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Did you actually manage to sit through that?
No.
Has anyone actually managed to sit through the entire thing?
I'm one of those people that like I hear something that doesn't make sense and I pause. And I go like try and look up what they're even talking about, like some of these locations I didn't know and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I go look it up and I'm like, I don't think that's right.
That's actually how I feel when Professor Stick goes on his chemistry rants, or he's talking about pro-cytosine or whatever. Whatever. The only thing that
I get. Go on.
the only thing that I really understood was how you had the how cyanide would block things being carried along the electron chamber or something like that.
Don't ask me about biology. So. I tap out.
Yeah, I was going to say I get messages all the time from flat earthers saying, "Have you not watched Eric DeBay's 200 Proofs? he is the man. You cannot debunk him." I'm not joking. Like once a week, I get a message like that.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind whenever I see the videos that we put out where we actually have observations, and people look at it and they just like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Brilliant.
Yeah, one person. I still have to ask Katz what he found out, how he found out about flat Earth. But while Katz thinks, I just want to bring up this thing that Soundly just reminded me of, and that's one person basically said that the big humps in the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway debunk it, and I think they just don't understand perspective.
Every time somebody says that, I say, have you seen Walter Bislin's models? There's 3D models that show us exactly what it's supposed to look like. It looks like that. I mean, what else can we do?
Yeah.
But then, oh, well, it's the model. It's not real life. So, yeah, but in real life, it looks like the model, which is telling us what it should look like. But, well, it's just a model. It's not real life.
Anyway, Katz, how did you find out about flat Earth?
One of the kids at school I was teaching at the time, they mentioned it to me that they'd seen a video, and they'd actually seen the video with Dell pouring the hose pipe on the ball. And they come to show me because they thought it was so funny. And then I decided that might be something that I could get the kids engaged a little bit more, because this wasn't a class of kids that were particularly interested in science. And I thought, well, God, if I can get like a flat earther and have an interview with them about science and stuff like that, then I can show the kids the interview, we'll make it all cordial. The kids can then start asking proper questions and doing, trying to find things out for themselves. It might switch them on to science a little bit. And with complete faith that they obviously wouldn't end up believing that the world was flat. And that's how I got into it. And that's what, makes me laugh, because I get accused all the time of like trying to hide the truth from kids and lie to kids all the time. But the genuine reason I got into it was so I could show the kids a flat earther speaking. That flat earther, can't remember his name, turned out to be a bit longer. He couldn't calculate lengths of triangles or things like that. But I did it did an interview with him, showed him the kids, and the kids just looked at it and went, yeah, it's stupid. That was it. Not it just wasted all that time. They were like, yeah, so that's just bonkers.
And that's how I first got in touch with Conspiracy Cats, because you were doing the paper, weren't you? The physics paper.
Yeah.
And I messaged Cats and I was like, be careful with this Riley character. He's like, he takes the mick and he lies all the time and all this. So I was like, you better watch out with him.
Yeah, you were right. And I remember at the time thinking, no, he's been all right with me. I remember messaging back and going, no, he's all right. He's been fine with me. He's been fine. But, but I will say publicly now, I'll break this news because I've never said this in public before. But I did, as part of that deal with Anthony, I did allow him to sit a GCSE physics paper. So GCSE, if you're in America or New Zealand or wherever, is like, I don't know what it's the equivalent of for you, but we sit it when we leave school at 16. So what's the equivalent in America? SAT, is that the 16-year-old and you're off?
So in New Zealand, we've got this thing called NCEA, and level 1, you sit that at 16, level 2 is 17, and level 3 is 18, or years 11, 12, and 13.
Right. So it's similar thing, and he wanted to sit a paper to prove he could pass it, and I haven't mentioned this on air because I didn't want to embarrass the guy, but stuff it. He failed it that badly. It literally took me 3 days to find a way to edit it so it looked like he passed. That is how bad it was. Now, I'm not saying that if someone was to give me a French, a French language GCSE paper, I'd fail it. But I wouldn't then go around and start trying to correct people on the French grammar, But he failed this paper so hard, and yet goes around and is trying to debunk Einstein. It's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Did he know that he'd failed it before you edited it?
Well, I had to talk him through all the answers essentially.
Yeah, I remember watching.
Yeah, he got some. Well, but I edited out the bits where I really spelt it out for him, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll say this, I'll say that." So he must have known that he was clueless. Like he must have known, but because at the end I said, "Right, that'll be enough. I'll give you a pass for that." He was happy as Larry. I didn't want to upset him, but I'm sure that video will see the light of day at some point.
Do you still have the full thing?
I'm pretty positive that video will be seen by lots of people in the not too distant future. Yeah.
Okay, because you had your recent falling out with him, and yeah, I've mentioned it in my last video, and I said about the comment that you left on his video, and because I reached out, and I can actually, because you're here, I can actually confirm that I reached out to you, and one of the first things about it, and one of the first things you said was space comma.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But no, it's done and dusted now. At the end of the day, I don't mind. I mean, sure, all of us do. I'm sure Soundly, yourself, Dan, gets dogs abuse in emails and tweets and comments. But given the fact that I knew that guy a lot better than I know other people, I just think it was not appropriate coming from him. So I let him know exactly what I think, and that's it. I'm done with him.
Yeah. And I some of the stuff that he has said, I was like recently, it sounds like he's trying to become more Oakley-ish, and that's all I'll say about that. Yeah,
absolutely. He used to often say to me, "Oh, you've sold out. You've put ads on your videos. You're making money out of this. You're monetizing." And if you look at his streams now, he's got a little link at the bottom. Support my. So you're doing exactly the same, following the Oakley route.
I never have understood that. I've never have understood. They set up this false premise that we're all like paid government employees, and then whenever we monetize our channels, that's the proof right there. It's like, what? It's YouTube, dude. That's the whole point of the channel.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the video, you've got an option. You can click a button and then receive a little bit of money at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Or you can click a button. I'm going to click that button.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I don't make a whole lot of money from YouTube, but the amount of money I get per month is probably just enough to pay my rent.
Nice.
That's good.
Nice.
More than I'm making, that's for sure. I'm not doing anything though. So.
Yeah, well, to be fair, my rent is probably cheaper than most people's rent. My rent is $80, 80 New Zealand dollars a week.
Yeah, it's still cheaper than mine.
Yeah, that's cheaper than mine.
Yeah. But I'll read, speaking of paying rent, I'll read some super chats. There's Kerry Mack, who donated £4.90. I was going to say £4.99, but you've got some weird money. It's not real money.
Pence.
Yeah, £4.99, I think. And she said, "You are the dude. Great vids. Your sense of humor is legendary." And thank you. I'm glad you like my sense of humor. Conspiracy Cats also has a great sense of humor.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I do like the yodeler in Simon Dan's video, as well as the agent.
The yodeler's more popular than I am.
And Ed Wolf Slick, some name that I can't pronounce because it has too many consonants. donated £5 and says, I suspect that most disc defenders suffer from profound dyscalculia. I don't know what
Dyscalculia.
I don't know what that is. Numbers.
It's dyslexia for numbers.
Oh, okay. Numbers are an alien language to them, so they replace it with flurifmatics.
Flurifmatics.
Well, it just goes. The questions that people like Nathan Oakley have been asked, like, how do you convert meters to kilometers? Just, I don't understand that. How we can get that so wrong?
Not only did he get it wrong, he adamantly argued passionately about how the other person was wrong.
That's what's so funny about it.
He can only just sit there and stare with wide eyes, like, what the?
And Chris Kelling donated $10 and said, angle of attack has one valid reference: the angle of the leading edge of a wing to the air. Yeah. I hear Lily tried to corrupt it.
I think that was Oakley too, right?
Yeah. Oakley has said about his angle of attack. And
Lily's been after me since I started my channel. Like, as soon as I started doing any punch train observations, Lily has been on my ass since day one.
Yeah.
Claiming I added CGI Osprey to my video.
What?
Yeah, for real. Like they were. I had this one video where I slowly drive by the transmission lines from one side to the other. Or I strafe from like the east to the west, right across. And there's a bird that's sitting, as an osprey, sitting on one of the foreground transmission lines. And he was trying to argue that there wasn't enough. What's the word I'm looking for? The change in angle. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm sort of drawing a mind blank right now. Parallax. He was like, there's not enough parallax. It's not moving. It's not rotating. That proves that it's CGI and it's fake. And he just added, and I'm like,
you've got to wonder where they get their arguments from at times. Because there's sometimes where occasionally I'll come across a video, and I actually haven't been getting that many Flat Earth video recommendations in my feed lately. So it's, but I'll come across something and I'll be like, what? You just got to squint to make sense of it. So
you can't make sense of it.
Yeah, as I said about that thing with Oakley, I just couldn't make sense of it. And even now, I understand it slightly better. I kind of understand where he's coming from. But if I were to go ahead and rewatch what he was saying, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably be like, okay, what did he mean by that?
Well, the thing is, he can't explain it himself, you know. One of the most satisfying moments I think I've ever had in my entire life, I'll be honest, was when I had him pinned and I was asking him, to explain what diffraction was. And he can't explain the basics himself, you know. So the stuff he comes out with, don't worry if you can't understand it, because neither does he.
Yeah. There was the one thing that I've been hoping that he'd do, and apparently he did it once and never did it again, and that was go on something like non sequitur to debate someone else.
He rage quit, didn't he?
Yeah, him and Anthony both.
And
I think they were on against Jen Panda, were they?
I think it was Jim Panda, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the details, but yeah, I was thinking, what if Nathan Oakley went on a show that, and I actually tried to contact him to set up a debate, kind of like the debate that Conspiracy Cats had with Nathan Thompson, and his response was basically "fuck off." Well, it wasn't that, but it was. I run a debate show. If you want to debate me, join. Hop on that. Otherwise, fuck off.
Yeah, he runs a debate show, all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a piece of work, isn't he?
And that's why.
And Ranty's, you seen Ranty's back now with his observations.
Oh, excellent! That's great news.
Yeah.
So does that mean that the Adventures of Ranty segment is going to feature a comeback?
I think it absolutely will do. It will do this weekend anyway. Yeah, we could do some more globe proofs. I mean, I feel for it. I think out of all of them, I feel for Antti the most because I think he's the only one who genuinely believes it. And I think he's led. I think he's led by the other two, and he can't see through them. But I think he genuinely believes it, and they're not doing him any favors whatsoever by leading him on the way that they do.
Yeah, I one of the things that I've kind of noticed when it comes to conspiracy theorists is that even if you say that this is, anything that they can grasp onto to believe their conspiracy theories, they will grasp onto it, even if it's no matter how weak the argument is, or no matter how poorly it's argued, they'll grasp onto it, even if it's, I've seen things that someone says, oh, this paper clipping was talking about this thing here, and I'm thinking, okay, you do realize, because they said about there was a date in this newspaper clipping because of the number of on the shirt, and I waited for that date and this thing happened, and I'm thinking, well, you do know the likeliness of something happening on a given date is not as low as you think.
Well, that's it. You can Google on this, like some radio shows have that segment, don't they? On this day in, you're always gonna find something, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you guys remember when when the Notre Dame Cathedral burnt down?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I heard people saying is that it was either planned or something, because the Titanic sunk on the same day and this other thing happened on the same day. And I was thinking, you do know how many disasters there have been throughout the history of humanity. I can find any given... If there's a day of the year which doesn't have a disaster happening on it, then that would surprise me.
I knew there'd be a raft of videos after that.
Yeah. The thing that surprised me was Armored Skeptic jumping on it.
Oh, really? I didn't see.
So basically, Armored Skeptic said about... I can't remember exactly what he tweeted about it, but he tweeted about it making it seem like he believed in this conspiracy theory. And then a lot of people called him out on it, because, Armored Skeptic, he's one of the people that usually doesn't believe in conspiracy theories, except for the conspiracy of postmodernism. The postmodern neo-Marxists, which apparently all the professors are believing in these days. All the teachers are teaching the kids about postmodernism, neo-Marxism. So...
That's for another channel.
Kiri Mack in the chat just said about the Notre Dame fire. She heard Arwen talk about direct energy weapons.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, so
that was the California wildfires were apparently due to direct energy weapons too.
Yeah.
All these conspiracy theories they're interesting to speculate on, right? I mean, speculating on things like that is the basis of most of our movies, right? I mean, that's we get cool, fun movies out of stuff like that, out of these cool stories, right? But you don't actually have a chain of evidence. That's the problem. Like, until you have a chain of evidence, it's just a conspiracy theory. And that's the whole point. If you had the chain of evidence, it would be a conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory. So come up with the evidence and I'll jump on board with you. But until you have a solid line of evidence, what's the point? I mean, you don't know. You have no idea.
Yeah, a lot of these conspiracy theories, they sound like really good movie plots, actually.
Right. Exactly.
But they, you hear about the giants building the moon from out of rocks from the Grand Canyon, and that would... I feel like that could be made a good plot for a kids movie or something. you know, or
some Harry Potter magic. So.
Or maybe the Chinese stealing the moon. That's a really good idea for a kids movie. Oh wait, someone's actually done that. I think it was the Despicable Me. Casual Spaceman wants me to ask Simon Dan why you're a Saints supporter when he lives closer to Portsmouth than Southampton.
Because I don't live closer to Portsmouth than Southampton. That's the first point. And secondly, I was raised through my childhood in Southampton, so that's why. And when you first kind of get a team, can't change. Cats will back me up on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can back you up on that too.
Yeah,
he was probably a glory hunter though. Cats. He probably supported Blackburn when they won the league in '95, and then it's downhill ever since.
I'm a bit older than that. I remember those days. I remember pre-Jack Walker.
Yeah.
And in American rules football, the collegiate level is almost maybe just as popular as professional level, and especially at the D1 level, SEC. And I'm an LSU fan, LSU Tigers fan, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I always will be. It doesn't matter where I live the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I can move to Hawaii, I'll still be an LSU fan.
Yeah, you can't change.
Yeah.
Anyway, Planarwalk, I'm going to have to duck out because I am going to Betty Buys because I've got to run.
Hey, real quick before you go, Simon, I've been meaning to ask you, are those all your marathon tags? Are all those marathons?
What, behind me?
Yeah.
No, they're my wife's.
Oh, wow.
They're her. They're not. They're just like 10Ks, half marathons and stuff. Yeah, that's hers. I've got too many to make for a thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, see you then.
I'll see you all. Catch me in the morning.
Yeah. See you, Simon.
See you later.
And we've got Creaky Blinder in the chat.
Hey, Creaky.
Creaky was I actually quite like quite a few of his videos, and I actually like that he attacks things that aren't flat Earth. Because I feel like that just going after flat Earth all the time gets boring, and that's why I try to switch it up a bit. And I've noticed quite a few people have been switching it up a bit lately. Even Fight the Flat Earth might have to change his name.
He might have to change his name because of YouTube?
Oh no, not because of YouTube, but change his name from Fight the Flat Earth to something like Fight Against Conspiracy Theories. And it can be called Fact.
I thought you meant change his name to Craig. But Craig's not too bad.
Well, it confuses me, you see, because I have actually had a person called Craig on my channel a couple of times, so, having two people called Craig on my channel is, really confusing. But, Tram Dickerson says there's still thousands of flares to destroy. But the thing is, it's sometimes hard to find them because a lot of flat earthers, you hear about them, you might hear that a friend of a family member is a flat earther, but it's not like they're making YouTube videos.
I haven't, and I'll be honest, like in real life, like how many flat earthers? Because I don't know anybody, or I don't know anybody who even knows anybody who's a flat earther. Have you ever actually met someone just walking around saying they use a flat earther?
Yeah, it was actually weird. I was at my neighbor's crawfish boil, and one of his friends, who was a math major, by the way, started talking about flat Earth, and I was like, "This is an actual flat earther." That's crazy. Yeah, so I've met one person in real life, and it was just completely on a whim, random.
Yeah,
And did they know? Because I imagine, and I only imagine this, that like, although we operate on a very small corner of the internet, if you're into something like flat Earth, you are going to Google flat Earth videos, and if you do that, eventually you're going to bump into people like yourself. So did they have any idea who you were?
No, they didn't know who I was. Yeah.
You should have said. You should say, "Do you know the hell who I am?" Do you not recognize me? No, right, brilliant.
I think he was kind of a newbie. I think he had just started looking into it. You could tell by what he was referencing Dubai. Basically all of the Flirt 101 stuff. Intro to Flirt. So I didn't really want to go too deep in my personal life. With my wife and kids there, I was like, just let it be.
Yeah. When it comes to the first flat earther that I met was actually in real life, and he was watching a video, and I didn't know that he was a flat earther before this. And this was actually before that game No Man's Sky launched. Have you heard of that game? But anyway, essentially he was watching a flat earth video in a class, and I was looking at thinking, this can't be serious. This has got to be a joke. And I was like, what? I actually asked him, what are you watching there? And people were, poking a bit of fun at him. And then, that's how I found out about flat earth. Is I watched that video and I was like, holy shit, they're actually serious.
It is surprising when you first learn, right? When you first find out. I don't know. For me, it was like, this is satire, right? But nope.
You'd think it would be satire, but no, yeah. And apart from that, I haven't actually, he's the only flat earther that I've met in real life, and apparently there have been a couple of my flatmates went to this event, this nature reserve event or something, where there are people getting up and talking about the environment, and apparently there was one flat earther that got up and started talking about flat earth. And
randomly?
I can't remember the exact situation, but I think it was a thing where people could go up and take the mic and let people know their thoughts. And apparently there was this one flat earther that that went up and started, saying his thoughts about the Earth being flat or something like that. And apparently my flatmates were stunned.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're out there. They're definitely out there.
Yeah. It's just you don't
run into them very often.
They're very concentrated in our corner of the internet, aren't they? That's why I always think, if I was to ever meet a flat earther, they would probably know the names of Simon Dan or Nathan Oak. They'd know those kind of names, wouldn't they? And think, they tend to all gravitate towards us. Although I've got quite a few living around me, not far from me. I think Antonio Subrat's isn't too far. Riley's not too far. A few of the smaller ones, I'd say within 40 minutes from me.
Katz, let me ask you as a teacher, what does this say about, whenever I first got into this, I immediately thought American education system, there's the problem. But then all of a sudden, there's people in the UK, there's people in Brazil, there's people in Germany. I'm like, what's going on here? What does it say about the worldwide education system that kids can leave the school and manage to be conned into believing the Earth is flat afterwards?
I mean, honestly,
what are we doing wrong?
I don't think it's what we're doing in school. I've been teaching 2001, when I trained. So I've met a lot of kids, and there are kids out there that I've taught, and I'll know now they'll be in their early 30s, and I know they'll still not be able to properly figure out how to pay the credit card bills or budget, or they'll still not be able to properly read. They'll still struggle to operate and do things on their own because they were just that academically weak as kids. And really nice people. They were the kind of kids that when they were in year 11, which is the age we leave, they were still doing work that our year 7 and 8s, which is 11, 12-year-olds would be doing. And they just were academically really weak and just didn't understand concepts. And I think you can't do anything about that. We're always going to have that percentage of people. But when they leave and they see somebody on social media who's talking with a lot of confidence and seems to be using big words like thermodynamics and entropy and this is impossible, or if we look at the moon landing, it is impossible for a flag to flap without the wind. Someone like that is instantly going to be like, oh my God, yeah. And And I think that's what it is. Unfortunately, I think I've just met too many people that will grow up and be that gullible because that they're just cognitively a little bit less developed. You know, it sounds a bit harsh, but it's just the truth, I think.
No, I mean, don't worry about being harsh. I mean, I want a real answer because it's mind-boggling to me. You know, I don't understand it.
To me, I think that there are quite a few different factors. Like, there's a lot of... I think it comes down to economics a lot. And so if you are very poor, you generally a lot less... You have a lot less emphasis placed on education by parents. And that's not to say that poor people can't grow up and have a good education. That's not to say that poor people can't understand all these different concepts. It's just that parents, at least from what I know, parents that are your parents that have sort of are growing, or you're raising kids that are living in poverty, generally tend to not trust the system, and so you'll get those kids sort of bunking school and all that. And
I think people, you know, like demographically, there are going to be some people who feel, like you said, cheated by the system. You know, they'll look at other people who've got a little bit more, and they'll, you know, it's not like they're trying to blame the poverty on other people or blame their situation on other people, but it does seem to be like, what? It does seem to them to feel like it's something that's out of their hands, you know, and I think it can make them a little bit more susceptible to, you know, the man up there controlling things. And it's a shame. It's a real shame.
I actually think that that's also a good reason why people believe in conspiracy theories, because there is a whole lot wrong with this world, right? And it's nothing to do with people trying to hide that the Earth is flat or anything. It's people that have a lot of money, like you got people that are billionaires that you know, try and buy politicians, and so the whole system will feel rigged against the little guy. And you know, even now, like I used to believe in some conspiracy theories. Like, there was a point in time where I was thinking maybe there is a group called the Illuminati, and then I met this guy who was was a good guy and he said about you know, maybe there's a group called the Illuminati, but they're not called the Illuminati, because why would you call yourself the Illuminati? And I was thinking, it makes a good point. Why wouldn't you, if you're the Illuminati, why would you call yourself the Illuminati?
You wouldn't. What you would do is you would create conspiracy theories about a group called the Illuminati.
Yeah.
To take the attention off of you.
Like Area 51. My theory about Area 51, nothing dodgy going on there.
Yeah.
Everyone look at Area 51.
Yeah, exactly.
It's me nan's garage you want to concentrate on. That's where the funny shit's going down.
Yeah.
So I knew a guy that was once a special forces guy, and he told me stories about aircraft that he had to interact with that he had never seen before. But he said, but they're not extraterrestrial. It's just technology. It's just technology that we own and don't want anybody else to know about.
Well, there's a place about an hour from where I live called Todmorden, and you can Google this. You know, it was known as like the European UFO hotspot when I was growing up as a kid, and it was like, wow, there's UFOs flying over the moors in Todmorden, UFOs flying over the moors, and everybody kept coming back saying, I've seen these, you know, triangular shaped black things moving at supersonic speeds with these lights underneath, and it was massive, you know. But it turned out that that's where they were test flying the stealth bomber, and that's what people were seeing. But like you said, nobody knew; they'd never seen a plane like that before. And
exactly.
But it gained it for a while, the reputation of being like more UFO sightings over there than anywhere in Europe. But like you say, it was all our technology.
It's kind of like I like what Neil deGrasse Tyson said about UFOs. You know, the Pentagon had this thing, I think it was a couple of years ago, where they were releasing documents to do with UFOs, how they had seen UFOs. And Neil deGrasse Tyson says, people are going mad about this, saying that, oh, it's aliens. And he said, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's aliens. In the name UFO, you've just admitted that it's an unidentified flying object. It's literally in the name. Unidentified. And yeah, he made a good point. You'd hope that they'd be investigating this kind of stuff, because if they are aliens,
Do you think that skeptics get a bad name because some skeptics are, kind of the opposite of conspirators, in that they have a natural tendency to just discount anything that's said at all about conspiracies?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that's true. I mean, I'm just kind of expressing my opinion, an open question, but I'm open. I can tell you, as a skeptic, I'm open to anything. Just provide me the evidence. If you provide me the evidence, if you can show me from point A to point B, here's an extraterrestrial craft, we know it is, and this is how we know. Well, then I'd believe it, because that's where the evidence led me.
Yeah,
But they don't ever provide. That's the thing with conspiracy theorists, is they're mad at you for not believing them, but you're like, I'm just asking you to show me the evidence, and you're not.
Well, as a high IQ skeptic myself, I think that there's people which they're skeptical about one thing, and then they'll call themselves a skeptic, but they're not skeptical about another thing. So, you'll have people that will be they'll call themselves a globe skeptic, but they won't be skeptical about any of the flat Earth. They won't be skeptical about the flat Earth model or anything like that. And I feel like as humans we do have a tendency to be naturally or selectively skeptical of things, because if you had to be skeptical of everything, not a lot would get done. So you've got a tendency to accept some things on just trust that this person knows what they're talking about, or has got it right. And that's what a lot of it comes down to, because even if you're a conspiracy theorist, a lot of times it won't be so much that you'll have gone out and done the research. You'll be listening to what someone else is saying about the research that they've done, and then they might have gotten it from somewhere else. And so it's quite often that kind of thing where you just trust what someone else says about stuff, and then
I was watching a video with Professor, I can never pronounce his name right. Is it Michio Kaku? Is that pronounced right?
Michio Kaku, I think it is. Or...
Michio Kaku, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, I can never pronounce it right.
I can't.
He was saying he thinks there's that, I know he's a physicist, but he was saying he thinks like genetically there's like a gene for conspiracy theories that was kept. There was an evolutionary advantage, because obviously when you were when we were sort of like developing and evolving, being suspicious of a different type of food you've never seen before, or a different type of animal you've never been near before, it was that being suspicious of it that actually one time out of every 100 kept you alive, and he said that's kind of prospered, and he puts that on onto why some people who have got good educations and stuff do fall for these theories.
Yeah, I think that also Richard Dawkins said something about that as well, where although he was more talking about the supernatural, how we tend to attribute agency to things that don't necessarily need agency attributed to them. So, and the reason why is if you hear a rustling in the bush, the likelihood is that rustling is just a wind or something, But
it could be a lion.
Yeah, but if you're wrong one time, even if it's 99 times, it's 99 times it's just the wind, but one time it's a lion. That you just have to be wrong that one time, and then you're dead. And so, you're right. There is a evolutionary advantage. And Christmas said it's a drop bear. Have either of you been to Australia?
Yes.
No.
Did you get attacked by drop bears while you're in Australia, Cats?
No, I'm not sure what a drop bear is.
Oh, okay. A drop bear is is like a koala, and it basically drops down on you from basically drops down on you from trees, and you can. I think it's the Australian Natural Museum website actually has an article dedicated to drop bears, and it explains that they come out. They generally are only seen on April 1st.
Knew where you were going.
Yeah.
No, I remember Australia really well. I remember we went from Cairns all the way down to Sydney. We spent about 6 or 7 weeks doing it. And when we arrived in Cairns, there was a sign outside this pub saying, "Toss the boss." Right now, is that something that's big in America? Like, because I've only ever heard of it in Australia. Do you know it, Planarwalk?
So, when I was in Australia, they had a whole lot of one of the places that I went actually was very had a lot of rubbish lying around, and I saw a lot of signs around saying, "Don't be a tosser, put it in the bin."
Oh, it wasn't about litter. It was like toss the boss tonight at the bar. It was like an entertainment. Now that means something different in England. I don't know what it means. So I thought, I'm not going in there. I'm not going in there. Every time we went down, every place we went to, there's a big sign saying, "Tonight, toss the boss." And I was thinking, what? We got to Sydney. I thought, I've got to find out what toss the boss is. I'm going to brave it. And I went into this pub, and it was the biggest moment of regret I'd ever had, because literally walked up to the bar, you ordered your drinks, and the barman goes, "Heads or tails?" And if you win, you got your drinks for free. I've not gone in a single pub and tried to do that for like 6 weeks.
Okay, so that's I can imagine why you'd think that would be something, because I was thinking, was it only available at strip clubs or something like that?
That's what I thought. I thought, is this some kind of really seedy thing, that? But no, it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cracking idea.
Did you see any big spiders while you're there?
Yeah, I saw a golden orb, and it were absolutely massive. And I didn't. I was walking. We went through the rainforest in. It would have been Cairns, wouldn't it? That would have been where the. Anyway, we were walking through, and it was just. Yeah, it was on this web, sort of like in between two trees, just to the side of the path we were walking through. And honestly, it was bigger than my hand. It were frightening. It were massive, but they're not the dangerous ones, are they?
I don't know which ones are the dangerous ones.
They're all dangerous to me. Maybe it's a genetic thing.
Yeah,
we have banana spiders locally, and they're pretty big.
One of the things that I'm disappointed about is I never saw a snake.
Oh. Do you not have them in New Zealand?
You've never seen a snake?
I've never seen a snake. We don't have snakes in New Zealand.
Oh.
That's weird.
They've got snakes in Australia, and some friends, while they're going to the SAE Institute on their way, they saw a snake, and I'm like, damn, I didn't see it, because they got a photo of it, and it was a pretty big snake, and I was kind of.
Well, when you want to see a snake, all you gotta do is take a vacation to New Orleans. I'll show you as many snakes as you want to see. Snakes, alligators, all sorts of stuff.
So, do they have a lot of snakes in England?
No, you can get them in the wild, like you can get, but I've never seen one. I've heard of people finding odd little snakes in the garden and stuff, but I've never seen one. Bats, see a lot of bats, but only tiny ones. I've got bats in my garden, but I've never seen a snake in real life.
Yeah.
When I have my coffee in the morning, I go out to this little retaining wall right next to a lake, and there's snakes swimming by there all the time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'll get some video for you guys.
That's amazing. It's awesome.
But
Planarwalk, it's knocking on the 10 o'clock here. I'm up at very early in the morning.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to drop, mate.
So I'll
go ahead and drop off too.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read out a few super chats and then we'll end up the stream. So Ritesh Dayal says, fight the fucking Egypts. Or Egypts.
Oh, is that Fight the Flat Earth's new name?
Yeah, fight the fucking Egypts. And Gunnar donated 20 20 Nokias, I think. That's what it looks like to me. No message. And Casual Spaceman donated £5 saying, when you get a chance, ask why you are an idiot. What's the difference between a shadow and a silhouette? He thinks you can cast a shadow on a light source. Ding! So yeah, that's I think that's all the super chats. Yep. Alright, so it was nice having everyone on. And I say everyone because Simon Dan has already left, but it was nice having him on. But yeah, I think the next time I'll do something like this where we have members of SEAL Team 6 as if another member is announced. So
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Are you going to play us out with a tune? Is that the...
Yeah, that's the plan. What do you guys want to hear? Or do you think it should be up to you or the chat?
Let's see what the chat has to say.
Yeah.
And thanks for having us, Planarwalk. It was fun.
No problem. Whilst I'm waiting for the chat to say something, I'll go to the end screen and just say my little outro. So anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you liked that stream. Make sure you check out Soundly's channel, Conspiracy Cats' channel, and Simon Dan's channel if you haven't already. And let me know what song you want me to play to end off. And yes, I'll see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching. And there's one song there that I do know kind of how to play, but not that well. God damn it. I got it wrong. Another person said another brick in the wall, so I'll play. Alright, that's enough guitar playing. I'll let Conspiracy Cats get to bed.
Thanks. Thanks for having us on Planarwalk, and Sandy, really good to chat with you again.
Right.
Yeah, see you guys.
See ya.
See you later.